Welcome back to Tosche Station. Episode 2, maybe. This prompt, Derek, is...
What defines a lightsaber fight? When you say a lightsaber fight, what is the criteria that needs to be met for it to be a lightsaber fight?
Well, in my mind, a lightsaber fight is a fight between two or more people using lightsabers.
So it's powered by a kyber crystal, and it's like one of those... are those crazy weapons that they have powered by kyber crystals?
I don't think so, no.
Okay.
I mean,
just electricity weapons.
could be.
I think if anything is powered by a kyber crystal, and it, and it's part of a duel, I think even if they don't clash, if they just wave
the Death Star lightsaber,
wave them around each other, like threateningly, that's still a fight because it's a mental fight. I think.
Death Star's a lightsaber.
But I wouldn't call the Kylo versus Luke hologram a lightsaber fight.
No, that's true because it wasn't. There was only one lightsaber present.
No, that's a lightsaber fight.
But there was only one lightsaber present.
All right,
was there?
We're gonna be.
He was holding Luke Skywalker was holding a lightsaber.
It wasn't real.
So
there was only one lightsaber ever present.
I mean,
no.
It's possible he was projecting.
You see, yeah.
You can't.
Real
you see
lightsaber, but then
no. There's too many loose possibilities.
We know that he was solid. His projection was solid as he physically touched Leia before going out to encounter.
Holy
shit! I fucking hate.
Holy shit!
Ergo, if he had used his lightsaber to fight Kylo Ren, it would have been an actual fight, but he stylistically chose to fight defensively.
It's the most subtle lightsaber fight of all. Except I hate that fight because of what Luke says, where he basically admits fault and then so totally gaslights and confuses Kylo Ren by basically saying it's his fault. He's like, I'm sorry I betrayed you, Ben. I did try to kill you, but you've gone too far. Amazing. Every word you said in that sentence was wrong. Which is really a dumb line. I hate that line. It's supposed to be like the climactic line.
I think it's a good line.
It's sufficient, but...
So, for example, like, Derek, would you say that the fight between Luke and, like, Shadow Vader in the cave in Dagobah is a real fight?
Good question. No, that would not be a lightsaber fight because there was only one lightsaber present.
But he was fighting.
I mean, okay, and Kylo and Rey fighting in the throne room, that's not a lightsaber fight.
No, it's not.
Because technically each individual I shouldn't necessarily say individual, but it was two differing forces, alright? What the two. I don't know where I'm
different categories of what kind of fight they are, because
I mean, you can have a fight in Star Wars and it not be a lightsaber fight. There's many.
Yeah, exactly.
I.e., that throne room fight.
You know what I thought was kind of interesting that I think back to, and I'm like, I don't know why he chose to do this, but the little fight that Rey has with her staff, and Luke is like backing up in the rain, and he grabs an antenna and breaks it off of a little dome thing, and he starts fencing with it basically, and it's just a brief moment, but I love that. I love that moment. And then she knocks him down with the fucking staff because it's just a wire. It's not a lightsaber.
Yeah,
Two lightsabers have to be present, but they don't have to touch.
And on differing sides. No,
and opposing lightsabers.
Yes, that's what I was trying to get at.
Two or more people have to be fighting each other with lightsabers.
We are so pedantic, but it's perfect.
That is the point. That's the entire point of this conversation.
I know. We did it. We solved it. It's all fine, okay?
All right. So we've established what a lightsaber fight is. To what end?
I like them. I think we should have different layers where, like, we should talk about some of the close calls that are similar to lightsaber fights, like the one I mentioned in Last Jedi with the antenna versus the staff. Maybe just melee weapon fights are cool too. There's some other dumb stuff in sequel trilogy. I didn't like those weapons, the one that spun around. It was like they fly now. Oh, the Force Awakens was not super great in retrospect. But let's talk about the non-sequel movies, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Best fight, we could lay it all out. I think we're all pretty unanimous, I think, when it comes to this stuff. Actually, one of our first Star Wars-y conversations was about the marking, the place marking of the lightsaber fights. You remember that? And I went and typed out my top 10.
Yeah.
Brought it to y'all, and there was some
contention,
heat argument, but I think I came out the victor, and I made my presentation.
Well, we talked about this a bit last episode. A bit when we were talking about the lightsaber fights of the original trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say that the Duel of Fates in Episode 1 is one of the very best lightsaber fights, period,
and Anakin and Obi-Wan on Mustafar is amazing as well.
Not as good as the Duel of Fates.
No. But I think it's really close. The grand winner goes to Vader.
Still, my favorite fight is Luke versus Vader in Return of the Jedi.
Oh, Return of the Jedi?
Yep.
You are unwise to lower your defenses.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, so the thing about Episode 3, the fight between Anakin and Obi-Wan, or really, I like to say it's Vader versus Obi-Wan, because by that point, he already has been dubbed and goes by Darth Vader.
Interesting, yeah.
That's one of my little pet peeves about Star Wars in general, is when people exclusively refer to him as Darth Vader only after he wears the suit. The suit is not what makes
Well, what
him
about
Darth
the
Vader.
burns? I think the burns and the severed limbs makes him the Darth Vader. That happens at the tail of the fight.
No, what makes him Darth Vader is when he commits to becoming a Sith.
But there's gradations. Each one, I mean, you might be right. I mean, he start calling himself Darth Vader, but has he completely locked into that before, like, he feels completely betrayed and abandoned? I don't
No.
I think it was all of that severing and burning might.
For sure. I mean, that plays into like the psychological trauma.
I think someone pointed out like Dooku was Sith, but he didn't have the yellow eyes because he wasn't totally fully dark-sided. I guess fully Sith mode. He was a gradation before that. Technically, still uses dark Sith, evil manipulations and stuff, but he hasn't transformed. Thoughts on that?
I don't know. I think it's hard. It's. I mean, it's hard to commit to like hard and fast like levels of like Sithdom for me because.
No, just there's the spectrum.
Yeah, we are getting a little bit off topic.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day.
Oh, there is that fight with Dooku. Yeah, there's a.
Yeah, but that fight's dumb.
Yeah, but it has Christopher Lee in it, so how dumb can it be?
It's not a good fight, dude.
It's not. It is not a good fight at all.
It is his hand severed, and he gets a fucking thing thrown on top of him.
Just because, like, how is Anakin not going to be able to defeat him with 2 lightsabers? Like, it's very easy.
Because Anakin wasn't good yet.
Dude, you swipe both of them.
Legitimately one of the best duelists in the entire, when he was a Jedi, as well as, an extremely
Who has a metal album under the name fucking Charlemagne, where a fucking symphonic metal band.
I don't think that's Dooku, but that is in fact the lightsaber fight. Granted, not a very good one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it looked
just throwing
aesthetically,
that out there,
it's
just
cool.
covering it while we have with the fire's hot.
The thing that gets me is that. Okay, now this goes for both that Anakin versus Dooku fight and the Grievous versus Obi-Wan fight. There is no possible way, I don't care how good you are at fighting, that somebody with 2 to 4 times more lightsabers than you at once is going to lose. Because all you need to do is swing both or all 4 lightsabers across the body at the same time. I don't care how good you are. If you only have 1 lightsaber, you cannot block more than 1 other lightsaber. Like, Grievous should have instantly killed Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Well, if he was a Jedi, if he was fucking good with lightsabers.
Well, yeah, clearly he absolutely sucks with lightsabers because he doesn't get the fact that I have 4 arms.
Exactly, but that was like part of it. He's just a collector without ability.
There's a big difference between the Grievous that we see in the 2003 non-canon series and the Grievous that we see throughout the Clone Wars series and Revenge of the Sith. 2 very different.
Completely inept.
Grievous is
almost like embarrassingly inept.
He's apparently in the actual lore, he's a very good commander.
So they say.
But not, or a general. I'm sorry, a very good general, but not a good actual fighter.
But I had heard that
is a lightsaber fight. That is still a lightsaber fight.
Okay, let's forget about Grievous for a second. Let's look at Anakin versus Dooku. All right. If Anakin is holding, I thought about this a lot. If Anakin is holding 2 lightsabers, if you go back and watch that fight, he only ever is swinging 1 lightsaber at a time to Dooku. He's just like holding the other one and like twirling it around to make like cool light effects. It's like Anakin. swipe with one, stab low with the other, or something. You can't defend against that.
They're all aware that there's a mental game at play. You know, he knew that going in, and
well, it's like so. What's Anakin's goal there? Is it to defeat Count Dooku, or is it just kind of like
well, maybe
spar
he
with him
realizes he doesn't have enough to totally like destroy Dooku and just like fucking decapitate him, which eventually happens. He is trying to take him in alive, I believe, right? I mean, he's trying to disarm him and, you know, take him in, and he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know what the fuck he's gonna do about this situation because it's a moral dilemma, and he's no easy guy to pin down. I mean, he's like one of the fucking most slippery snakes there is, you know?
Yeah, I guess so. So originally I was going to say something about episode 3. So when Anakin and Obi-Wan are fighting at the end of episode 3 on Mustafar.
Mm-hmm.
And now this is something that like kind of is like a holdover in my mind from watching the Red Letter Media reviews of the prequel series, which I feel like most Star Wars fans, you know about and are aware of because they were so huge.
For sure.
Like that fight is almost like needlessly comically over the top and dramatic. Of course, it fits with like the weight of what's going on.
It went full opera.
Yeah, it went full opera, and it's kind of cool. I love the soundtrack for that. I love John Williams' score for that fight.
It's a cool ass fight too. If you break down each of the individual, flourishes, it's fantastic.
But like with the line that stuck with me from the Red Letter Media review was them saying, "Does every fight have to be an epic fight?" Which sounds kind of like a pointless question. It's like, well, yeah, why not make it an epic fight? But it's kind of like, you're right. Like, I don't know.
I mean, I thought y'all were going to start by saying that your favorite fight, I think Derek may have said this at one point, or both of you, their favorite fight is Obi-Wan versus Darth Vader on
Derek said that.
That's not my favorite, but I definitely think that is one of the best because it is the benchmark for a lightsaber fight.
And, like, kind of going off of the idea that, the one on Mustafar is way too extravagant, it's way too operatic, it's choreographed, and the thing is it's over excessive.
I loved it. That's my favorite.
It rhymes. It rhymes with the simplicity.
I mean, I remember seeing that
with the simplicity with the Obi-Wan Vader fight in the Death Star.
The circle is now complete. When I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master.
Only a master of evil, Darth.
Because that's simple. It's a perfect parallel to how far they've come and how much weight is in that moment compared to it's amazing.
I can see that. Do
they fight again?
Well, soon.
They will soon? What?
Uh-huh.
Oh, in, like, the Obi-Wan show?
Yep.
Okay.
Assumedly.
Why not? Yeah,
I'm not saying that, like, the episode 3 fight is, like, a bad fight or, like, something like that. Like, seeing that in theaters, I was, seeing that in theaters the first time when it came out, and I was like in, 9th grade or something, 8th grade, whatever. It would be 8th grade. I was, like, extremely emotional at that, and it still can hit the right beats today. I don't know. This is kind of a different topic, but to be honest with you guys, I rewatched episode 3 relatively recently after I finished the Clone Wars. So this would be a couple months ago, a few months ago. What'd you think? I rewatched episode 3 because I wanted to, like Bring It On Home
I did
after
that
the
with
Clone Wars.
episode 2 actually recently.
Yeah. And let me tell you, like, episode 3 really seemed to not hold together as well as I remember it.
I mean, you didn't like the part where Padme is brushing her curly hair?
I like that part.
Like, I feel like the editing is really poor in that film.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of bad cuts and like tonal shifts from scene to scene, and everything moves so fast that it's really hard to give things to breathe. You know, I know this is kind of a controversial statement, but I wholeheartedly believe that the best Star Wars prequel is Episode 1.
Yeah, that's
now Episode 3 is still better than 2.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. That's fine.
I mean, I think Episode 1, even though it has kind of the most like tangential like plot in regards to the whole Star Wars saga, I think it holds up the best as just like a standalone film.
One of the things that holds it together so well is Ewan McGregor as young Obi-Wan. We see him as a Padawan, and it's intense and it's beautiful. He's got a little rat tail, and he's learning the ropes.
Is that what we're calling them now?
What do we call them? What are they supposed to be called?
I don't know. I'm almost positive they have a name, but
the Jedi knot. The Jedi braid.
It's like the Padawan braid or something.
Padawan braid, okay.
I mean, what's his name? Ewan McGregor is the pillar of the prequel trilogy.
Yeah.
Hands down.
And I didn't even know who Liam Neeson was when I was that age when I saw it. Like,
yeah, that was my first exposure.
I was 12, I think. I think I was 12. I'm a little bit older than you guys.
Yeah, I didn't know who he was. That was my first exposure to all of those
14.
people.
I was like 13 or 14.
You know what's funny? Of all the people in Star Wars Episode 1, 13. When it came out, and I was like, 8, I guess. Mm-hmm. What grade was I in? Was
they had that image of the little kid walking in the sand everywhere.
Yeah, with the Vader.
That image is scorched into the pop culture consciousness. You know, you're all gonna be evil, all you little kids with this on your backpack.
The only actor that I even knew in Episode 1 was Ray Park, and I knew Ray Park because he was the guy who played Toad in the X-Men movie.
Oh, yeah. Ray Park was killing it that year. Or that little stretch of time. Wait, did X-Men come out before Phantom Menace?
Yes.
Wow, okay, wow. Holy shit. The year of Ray Park. That's amazing.
Wait, did it come out after? I feel like I knew...
Look it up real quick.
They were around the same time. But for some reason, I feel like I knew Ray Park as... I was like, oh, he's Toad. But... So on the topic of lightsaber fights...
2000.
Okay. So maybe it was the other way around. Maybe it was like, oh, he played Darth Maul.
99.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Can we all just agree? Can we just all agree that across the board, the lightsaber fights in the sequel trilogies are just complete garbage?
Oh, they are legitimately all terrible.
Like, there's not one single fight that stands out as being cool in the entire trilogy. Outside
the throne room?
No, I was going to say outside of the throne room fight.
Okay,
I mean, that is by far the high point. That's an amazing
and it's
fight.
Not even a lightsaber fight.
Like, God, the fights.
Throne room.
The fights
it's all about the
in Rise of Skywalker are so terrible.
And
like,
I do remember her like climbing up the mountains, and like, there was a little bit of like, she's too powerful. What can it be? But it wasn't ever explained. So it was sort of like, all right, JJ, you got some explaining to do. And he's like, no, I got other franchise to work on. Sorry, bye. And yeah, and then everyone was calling her Mary Sue after that because she her or the Force itself opened a gorge up in the middle of the thing, and it like separated them. is separated. Yeah, like Moses. And then like she automatically was like stronger than him and like pushing against. She's like, I'll close my eyes. This will give me the force, and it works. But before that, I remember thinking, I was like, okay, girl fighting this kind of like angry emo guy, goth guy, like just he's too crazy, you know, he's too uncontrolled, and she can see that weakness, and like I was justifying it, you know, maybe unfairly too much, but I remember thinking it was cool, at least for the first time I saw it. I do remember that feeling and be like, oh wow, this is new. This is like, but it is just a reskinning.
No, I mean
a reskin. What's the phrase?
The Force Awakens fights were like small scale, but I saw that was intentional. Like, you know, it was the first one. It doesn't need to have a huge fight. You know, it was serving like the character work in the situation. That's the most forgivable. But I can't get over just how completely just abysmal all the fights are in Rise of Skywalker. Like, just
what
absolutely.
Other ones were there? I don't even remember.
I mean, there's the Kylo Ren and Rey fight like on like the Death Star ruins with like the waves crashing.
Oh, and Rise of Skywalker. Yeah. I kept thinking
and that one is just so like the special effects look terrible. Like them doing the flips look like it was ripped out of like some movie from like 1992.
Over, they just use the same. Like we've seen behind the scenes that there's a fucking little loop-de-loop thing that you flip up, and they use it like 3 times.
It's so bad, and there's just no emotion there. There's nothing cool that happens.
And then you got Finn yelling, "Ray!"
And then there's I guess the fight that they do in Palpatine's temple at the end against the Knights of Ren, but that's stupid and boring and dumb. And God, I mean, I have a lot of opinions on Rise of Skywalker, and again, it's sort of like, what would you do if you gave up, but you were contractually obligated to do like some fucking. You know what we should do? We should table this. We should table this and just make an entire episode going through scene by scene Rise of Skywalker.
Yes.
Okay.
And okay, so that's gonna be tabled. No more Rise of Skywalker talk. Until then,
talking about the lightsaber fight.
Yeah, we're talking about lightsabers.
Well, we can talk about the light. Wait, were there any other lightsaber fights in Force
Awakens? This is an important question. Does Palpatine ever pull out his lightsaber?
I mean, in Episode 3.
Yes.
No. In Rise of Skywalker.
No. He doesn't even have one.
Fight. Not a lightsaber fight.
But Rey has 2, and presumably if she's all of the Jedi, then she has all of the lightsabers, dude.
Oh, true. Did Luke project his lightsaber there too?
So I think what Rise of Skywalker was trying to be was
all of the Sith. Then doesn't he have all of the lightsabers also?
True.
The noble tradition of the lightsaber has fallen.
So. Oh, here's an interesting lightsaber question. And now, this is mostly a question for Derek, not to exclude you, Dennis, but just, you haven't seen all of the Clone Wars. Is there a fight anywhere in the Clone Wars or Rebels that is equal to or better than any of the fights we see in the main series movies?
Oh. I mean, there's some that are definitely better than some of the sequel fights, but
true.
All right, so one that comes to mind is when they infiltrate Dooku's palace because Palpatine is there, because Palpatine's secretly evil. Not a lot of people know that. Palpatine and
oh no,
Palpatine and Sidious are the same person.
I can't hear you. Can you hear him, Rob?
It's going in and out.
Oh no. How about now?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Yeah. Not a lot of people know this, but Palpatine and Sidious are the same person. But that one fight like where they infiltrate Dooku's palace because Palpatine was there being Palpatine.
Mm.
and Anakin is there, and then he fights with Dooku, and they're fighting throughout Dooku's entire palace. That is one fight I really like.
That's a very cool. I don't remember if it's the same one. Isn't there this one fight where there's like Dooku and Savage versus? Oh, I really like the one when Asajj Ventress. When Ventress goes to kill Dooku with her like sisters, and they break in and they have to fight Dooku and Savage, or just Dooku. That was a cool fight. Honestly, they do Dooku really well in
extremely well. Yeah.
in Clone Wars. Huh.
Okay, so y'all don't like the sequel ones. Y'all don't like the prequel ones, except for the Duel of the Fates.
No.
But they're not your top.
I like all the ones in the prequels.
I think all of our favorites though are in the originals.
Well, I mean, it's all a spectrum. Just because I like some better than others doesn't mean the ones that I don't like as much are like bad fights.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's just
I'm sorry. Yeah, I implied that.
It's all relative. The only ones that I truly do not like are the sequel ones, I guess, outside of the throne room fight. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course, there's the Ahsoka versus Darth Maul fight at the very end of Clone Wars.
I had seen that on a list before. I was surprised y'all didn't jump to that one.
Yeah, that's like beast mode, like personified.
I haven't seen it yet. I did just start watching it. I'm only 2 episodes in. But I watched the hour and a half thing. But it would be cool to have like a little section where we talk about the progress that I've made and the point that I'm at in.
Oh yeah, I'd enjoy that.
Yeah,
little dispatches from the Clone Wars.
Right now, there was a long episode with Ventress and Yoda battling. That's the first one, right? And he kind of tricks her with taking out all her assassins that she keeps sending, and like keeping the deal with that Toydarian guy, and he was like under like she was gonna kill him, and Yoda saved him at the last minute. And then there was the one where the escape pods, the stormtroopers were in the escape pods.
Stormtroopers?
Sorry, what are they called? Clones. What are they? Clone troopers.
Clone troopers.
Okay. Clone troopers were in an escape pod that had been deactivated, couldn't be piloted, and they're Plo Koon or something.
Yeah, it's Plo Koon.
And he was waiting for help basically, and they're all like, "Oh, no one's coming to help us. We're expendable." And Ahsoka has the kind of feeling to go back and go find them. And the droids had already come and started opening some of them, and just fucking letting fucking clone troopers into outer space just to fucking die and float off into space. It was like pretty intense.
Sounds pretty brutal.
They were just like opening, droids just opening these like can openers and just moving from one to the next. It was a very good tension building. Dave Filoni's great, and I love hearing him talk about. He talks about he mentions the Duel of the Fates and how it's about who's going to take what's going to happen to the fate of this boy, and it becomes Anakin, or who is Anakin. Hearing him talk about it, and all of them, it's just like it's really beautiful. Talking about how it all comes down, like sort of like the linchpin fight, or like the keystone to the whole rest of the series, and he draws that through line to the throne room fight where he saves, where Anakin saves Darth Vader.
Here's a better question: why are throne room fights so good?
Because it's the pinnacle, It's the ultimate end of the line showdown, It's. I mean, you got. Notable throne room fights. Of course, Luke Vader, Return of the Jedi. Rey and Kylo Ren versus the guards in Last Jedi. You got Obi-Wan versus Darth Maul on Mandalore, and then later Sidious versus Maul on Mandalore, which is a good one. Throne room fights. Oh, let us not forget, it's not a lightsaber fight, but it's a great fight. Let us not forget the Mandalorian versus the Magistrate in The Mandalorian.
Oh.
The episode where he meets Ahsoka, and then he has to go and like face like that evil
one green lightsaber
ruler.
Is that what she has?
No, she had
a Beskar spear.
Yeah, she had a Beskar spear. No, it was Ahsoka. It was Ahsoka versus the
Right. Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
But he eventually got it, right? He eventually got the spear.
He got it because that's what he used to fight Space Gus in the final episode.
Yeah, Space Gus. Yes, perfect. Yeah. What is that guy's name actually? Gideon. Gus Gideon. Moff Fring.
Giancarlo Esposito, is that his name?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
That's very nice.
I love him.
Yeah.
The Chicken Man.
Definitely cool arc in Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
But
he's in Community too for one episode.
Is he?
What else do we have to add on to lightsaber fights?
How about the greatest lightsaber fight that isn't a lightsaber fight? Which some may argue, I guess, that's the Kylo Ren versus Luke. But I'm going to bring it back to the Clone War, actually Rebels.
Oh, okay.
Obi-Wan versus Darth Maul rematch.
Oh my god! Yes!
Damn.
The fight itself isn't even good, but it's just the emotion.
Yeah.
And
which brings it all down to that's what it's about. You can have a good fight if the emotion and the character and like the story behind the fight is built up enough. Like that scene, that lasts for what? 10, 15 seconds?
Yeah. Literally nothing.
Not even maybe. Like the fight itself lasts for like maybe a few seconds. I don't want to spoil anything for you, Dennis, but it is cool. Like the definition of like Star Wars epic. Like
so let's maybe get back to the originals and cover the ones we haven't.
All right, so let's just go through the movies.
Okay.
We have another 20 minutes left on this? All right. Episode 1, Duel of Fates. What's good about it? Wait, is that the first lightsaber fight? Actually, no. The first lightsaber fight in Episode 1 is Qui-Gon versus Darth Maul.
It's not a great
on Tatooine. It's not very good, but Anakin drops when he says drop. You know what? If I was running along and some guy was like, turned around and was like, Rob, drop, I'd be like, what? What are you talking about?
Yeah, for sure.
And then I would have been decapitated by
Force sensitive.
True. So that's not that great of a fight, but it's a necessary introduction.
So they just like tit tat.
It's pretty cool. I like the how like the sand's like blowing around them and stuff. That's kind of cool.
I don't remember that fight at all.
I mean, it's not super intense.
How does it end?
Qui-Gon jumps onto the royal Padme's ship.
The high ground.
He jumps onto it, and he gets the high ground, and they fly away. And then the Duel of Fates. So what's good about the Duel of Fates? What makes it so good?
It is a fight that doesn't feel drawn out despite its length.
It's so quick and efficient.
It cuts away from it too a few times.
Well, it goes back and forth between that fight and the Battle of Naboo. It goes back and forth between them, Jar Jar in the field, and Anakin up in space.
Yeah, it's like this is the adult stuff. This is the kid stuff. This is the adult stuff. This is the kid stuff.
And this is the Gungan stuff.
That's the kid stuff.
No, that's the man stuff, dude. On the ground, fighting in the trenches, dude. Okay, yeah, I agree with you. It's a fast fight, and it's cool. It's like, there's a lot of like, the flipping and jumping around, and you could say that they went a little overboard on that later in the series, but this one, everything just feels lean and quick.
There's that cool
and
moment.
like cool. The score is awesome, and I like the different phases of it. They move from like the hangar and into like that place with all like the path, the different level like walkways, and they're like going around them and stuff. And then of course there's like the place with like the force fields that adds some cool tension. And I think it was you, Dennis, who brought up, or someone talking about, it's like when they're all blocked, it really is goes a long way in like illustrating their character. Like Qui-Gon sits down and meditates, and Maul is like pacing back and forth like a predator, and
tiger stripes on his face. Shakti.
Obi-Wan is just kind of like watching anxiously.
Yeah, he's kind of panicky, looking.
Yeah.
No one had fought a Sith in a bajillion
and
years.
This guy's some fucking like straight up demon, like looking motherfucker.
And then of course there's the 1v1 Qui-Gon and Maul, and Qui-Gon loses, and that death is so effective. Like you feel that.
Short and sweet, and the music swells,
I know, and it's like they do such a good job of establishing Qui-Gon's character. You can't help but like him, and then to see him die, it hurts. And then Obi-Wan comes out the gate, and it's noticeably like so much more vicious.
You never see you never see a Jedi again quite like Qui-Gon.
No,
that is very that whole thing with the way Obi-Wan fights is. Now, I don't know if this had been established beforehand or after, but Obi-Wan wanted to use a different fighting style, whereas Qui-Gon kept telling him, I can't remember if it was Form 4 or Form 3, but Qui-Gon kept telling him, no, you're a defensive fighter, you need to be focusing on what you're good at. But he was like, no, I want to fight for Yoda.
Are you talking, Derek?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I mean...
Sorry, it sounded like you were cutting out. It's probably fine.
All I was saying was that Qui-Gon kept telling Obi-Wan, you need to fight defensively, that's your strong suit, but, Obi-Wan is constantly like, no, I want to fight like Yoda, I want to do the flippies and cool. When that wasn't his strong suit, and Qui-Gon seemed to know that. Now, I don't know if that had been established at the time. That was just something after they were like, oh, that was a cool observation.
Well, it comes in well. Yeah, it all works.
But yes, it did work out in the end. So that's kind of why you see a very aggressive Obi-Wan there, and throughout the entire rest of the series, he's always very calm and collected when he fights.
Yeah, you're right.
That's cool.
It's just a good fight. It's a great fight. And I think we touched on this last episode. I feel like it benefits from rewatching. Like the more you know of like the backstory and like where things go from there and everything, I feel like it means more and more to you.
Yeah. Where it's like it's also puts Obi-Wan in possession of Anakin as like a promise to train him as a Padawan after that Duel of the Fates.
Mm-hmm.
And he's doing it out of a sense of duty, not really because he feels like it's the right thing to do. I mean, I guess a little bit of both, but what else can he do?
So, on to episode 2.
What's the first fight in that?
Well, it's not a lightsaber fight, but the fight between Obi-Wan and Jango Fett on Kamino is pretty good.
Okay. He like throws like some mines and stuff.
Yeah, like that's cool.
Grievous, right?
But
Grievous, yeah.
yeah, it's Grievous.
Grievous fight, yeah.
Grievous was in an episode
My
2.
problem with that. Let me just get mine out of the way. It's short and sweet. If he was swinging in a kind of
Grievous is in an episode 2.
Grievous
Yeah,
isn't
it's Dooku.
Oh, my bad. You're right. Sorry.
Triggered.
Well, here's the thing about that episode 2 fight. It's everything that happens in it is completely overshadowed by Yoda. Let's be real. Like,
Yeah.
people in that theater, when I actually saw episode 3, not episode 3, I saw episode 2 in theater 3 times when it came out as a kid.
Wow.
I know. Well, see, what happened was I went and saw it with my dad, like, to go see it, and then my mom wanted to go see it also because, like, my parents were divorced, so, like, I went to see it with her, and then I also went to see it with a bunch of friends when I was sleeping over at this one kid's house for his birthday. So, and every single time, the entire theater erupted in laughter. Like, hysterical, uncontrollable laughter when Yoda starts fighting and starts, like, flipping around. I'm not saying it in a bad way, like, we're laughing at the film.
You're right.
It was just
That's very
so unexpected
and like
random, and
like
that is like the takeaway from that movie is that Yoda fights like a freaking madman.
I remember someone was like, "How was the movie?" And it's like Yoda fucking fights.
Yeah, exactly. I can just picture George Lucas sitting there like, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna make Yoda fight, huh?
There's a line in that documentary, I think, about that, where they're like, the designer's like, this is finally it, I like, we're gonna finally see Master Yoda fight with a lightsaber, and it's never been done before. And it's just like, just like the novelty of it was not. It never ceased to surprise people.
It really doesn't. But the best part of that is after he actually fights is when, him and Dooku have that little, like, face off, that little like power showdown. Like, he shoots the laser, like Dooku shoots the Force lasers at Yoda, and Yoda just like, absorbs it, like brushes it off. And then,
Wait,
and I really like that.
Yeah, Dooku has lightning.
And then I like that because
lightning?
it's kind of like
Dooku uses Force
it's
lightning.
not laser.
It shows.
It's not laser.
Okay.
Rob, get your shit right.
Whatever. You know what I'm talking about.
I know.
I was confused. I imagined him shooting lasers out of his hands.
But that's essentially what it is.
Derek was.
Lightning is a laser.
Is lightning a laser? Hold on. Who says lightning's a laser?
What is? Give me the definition of a laser.
A beam of light.
A beam of energy.
Lightning's not a beam.
What is lightning?
Streak. Yeah, it's more of a streak.
It's an electrical
beam?
No, it's not a beam. A beam's like a line,
Oh my god.
Sorry, I'm okay. Continue with your story.
I just like it because it shows how powerful Yoda is without him demonstrating power.
Does he absorb it in his lightsaber?
What?
How does he absorb the electricity?
Into his hand.
Yeah, he does like a little force work. He
just takes
sucks it into his palm.
Because it shows that he's like already mastered that, and like
we don't see that.
Like I feel like Yoda could probably use Force Lightning if he wanted to, but he chooses not to because he completely understands how the Force works and how everything goes. And he can control that and absorb it and it not hurt him. And also he chooses not to use that, and it says a lot about his mentality as like a warrior, So I like that part of that fight.
But Dooku's, I guess, anger for against Yoda is pretty interesting.
Well,
but
I didn't get the sense that he had much anger towards Yoda so much as he became disillusioned with the Order.
But let's move on to the lightsaber fight. Okay, Anakin lost his hand, almost got crushed by a bullet.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
And then Obi-Wan was knocked out or something?
Yeah, Obi-Wan just gets knocked out.
God, Anakin is such a scrub.
Yeah, he's just really sucky in episode 2.
Dude, isn't Dooku super good though?
Yeah,
Dooku is debatably the second.
Dude, this kid's like 16. Dude, fucking Anakin's like 16, bro. Give him a break.
You're right. He actually would be. No, he's 20. He's 21.
Yeah, he was a little older than that.
He's 21 at the time of episode 2.
The character or the actor?
No, the character.
Oh, okay.
Because he was very he was like explicitly said to be 11 years old in episode 1, and episode 2 takes place 10 years later.
Oh, true. Wow.
Which means that Padme. So how old is Padme?
Well, she was probably
in relation
16
to
in the
Anakin.
first one, right? So
she was what? She was 18.
14. She was 14.
She was 14.
Yeah.
14? She's 24.
Oh, come on.
Nice.
Wow.
Well done.
She does not. That's.
Well, the whole thing is that weird Naboo tradition of you having to have like a really young queen. It's
okay. I mean, like I assume she was like 18 or something.
That's fantastic.
I mean, the problem is Natalie Portman in episode 1 is so obviously
older,
not 14.
Yeah.
But
which movie?
Episode 1.
Yeah, but she is super young.
I mean, she's like in her 20s.
What?
In episode 1?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, so there's that.
She was only 16. The first film was shot in 1997. She was born in 1981. Yep, she was born in 1981, and they filmed in 97.
Wow. I didn't know she was
when filming
that young in that film.
So probably 16 through 17. She was probably 17 through a lot of it, too.
So she's 39 right now.
So, yeah, she looks super young. I mean, like, yeah, I was surprised you thought she was like 20 or something.
I mean, I'm not very good. I'm not very good at determining people's ages.
Yeah.
So that was even before she attended Harvard. I'm looking at her Wikipedia page.
Oh, she dated Hayden Christensen.
Oof.
In 2000.
Should we call him Amy in bed?
Wait, what?
What?
What'd you say?
I said, did she call him Annie in bed?
Maybe to taunt him, like an.
This is a road of speculation that I do not care to go down.
I think they had role plays as their characters to practice.
Yeah, definitely.
He got really into force choking then, you know what I'm saying?
Yikes.
Alright, a new thing to cut out of this episode. No, I'll leave it. Who cares? Unless you want me to. Okay, so we're talking about lightsabers. Okay. And when they touch, when they touch or they don't touch?
They touch in an aggressive manner.
Okay.
That's really the criteria. Like, and aggressive against each other.
Okay.
Lightsabers have to be real.
And we're just not going to really talk about the sequels at all.
No.
So what happens in anything else in episode 2? Let's move on to episode 3. There's
although this isn't a lightsaber fight, so I shouldn't really bring it up. But I feel like we haven't said it We haven't mentioned it. Speaking of Jango Fett, I absolutely love that chase scene between him and Obi-Wan in the asteroid belt when they're flying. Yeah. And he puts out like the sonic black bombs or whatever.
That was the other takeaway next to Yoda fighting of that movie.
Yeah. And I love that they brought that back.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
I love that they brought that back in The Mandalorian.
That I do recall having a little thrill of joy. Yeah, that was perfect. Oh my god. Alone, you madman. How dare you give us everything we want?
Right. Okay, and we've already pretty much talked about episode 3. I mean,
Grievous. The thing I was going to say about Grievous that I was chastised for not remembering this is in the second movie. If he did it asymmetrically, so he couldn't easily be predicted by someone who could see the patterns really well, like a Jedi would, If he had
I actually saw somebody do like a really in-depth breakdown of this on Reddit, where they like analyze like Grievous's spinning patterns and like how he was like advancing and like
it's almost like a wheel that you could just stick like a stick into like a bike tire.
Yeah. It's just so stupid.
Yeah.
Such a waste of forearms.
But he didn't know any better. He's just a fucking dumb. He's not even a robot. He's like got like a scaly reptile thing inside of the shell.
He's probably just mostly organs inside of a shell at this point.
Yeah.
He's kind of like a pre-Darth Vader. I feel like Palpatine used like pre-Darth Vader technology.
Oh, he rhymes definitely with Darth Vader.
Vader. Really, essentially. And then
he was cool to look at too. He was a cool design. And they talk about how George chose his design among a bunch of different designers, concept art. Mm-hmm. You're like, okay, this is the bad guy. That was cool.
And then it leads to one of my favorite lines in the prequel trilogy after he shoots General Grievous in the chest and Grievous lets out that very satisfying throat-clearing cough before he dies. Of course, then Obi-Wan, so uncivilized. How uncivilized.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what's cool in the Anakin Obi-Wan fight on Mustafar is the part when they both go to force push each other at the same time, and they're kind of like standing there with their hands, like kind of it's like magnets like pushing up against each other. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty cool.
Like the part where Obi-Wan cuts all of Anakin's limbs off.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Really shocked me. Yeah. What a surprise.
What? I mean, I was more. I don't know. As a kid, obviously I knew it's Vader, whatever. I don't know. In that moment, I kind of knew he was going to lose, but I didn't know how he was going to get extra crispy. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That is a pretty brutal. That's a pretty brutal scene.
Really intense. Again, at the end of this full opera fight, they choose that to be like the defining finale of the trilogy.
Whew. I think they just show him getting set on fire. I wasn't expecting
screaming,
that.
"I hate you!" at the characters we followed their journey all the way here, and in the future. We've already seen their future. We've already seen them come up to this point. How it all went down. This explains a lot, actually, in that scene. Holy fuck! That's why I like it. I mean, I guess I tie up the lightsaber fight to all of that stuff. That is the concluding moment. Fantastic. Screaming, "I hate you! I hate you!"
Yeah, it's really intense.
He catches on fire and it burns away. He's just misses 3 limbs. Whew. You were my brother, Anakin. You were the chosen one.
I loved you.
He does, yeah. He says, "I loved you." Past tense, maybe, yeah.
I loved you all night.
You're a brother to me.
Yeah.
Supposed to bring balance to the force, not destroy it. Or does he say that earlier? Anyway. Alright, let's move on to A New Hope. Episode 4Z.
It is the benchmark for all lightsaber fight. That's it, really.
Oh, I did want to mention in episode 2, Anakin uses the lightsaber a lot to murder the sand.
Yes, although that is definitely not a fight.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say sand people don't have lightsabers, and therefore it's not a lightsaber fight.
One of them had a lightsaber under their coat, though, and they were like drawing it. You just didn't see it. So it was cut down too quick. It was dark. It's a lightsaber fight.
It was dark in the Jedi Temple when Anakin killed all those young ladies.
They had lightsabers.
That's a lightsaber fight. Catch, Dennis. That is a great catch.
What have we done? What have we done? I mean, oh my god. Counts. Alright, so let's move on. I also wanted to mention, I'll mention it when it comes up. Alright, A New Hope.
There's one fight. It's the benchmark for all fights.
Yeah. What other times does he use the lightsaber? There's
none.
No, he's training. He's training with a little bot.
It's not a lightsaber fight.
I'm not saying it's a fight. I'm just saying when else does he use the lightsaber? He swings it around, checking it out when he's talking.
I think that's it.
Okay, cool. Just checking. Okay. What do we want to say about this fight that sets the benchmark, as you said? It's super meaningful, and as you see the prehistory of these characters, it becomes even more meaningful. As you see the next episode 5, becomes even more meaningful. You know, the benchmark. The slow, steady, simplistic with a couple quick flourishes.
Yeah, also, it says
fencing like, mostly very.
It says a lot about how Vader fights throughout the rest of the series and how he fights right in that moment, because you don't have this aggressive, confident Vader all of a sudden. You have a very cautious. I don't want to say scared. He is not scared. He knows he's stronger than Obi-Wan.
He's a little rattled.
Definitely rattled, yeah. Kind of like a ghost
kind of another duel of the fates, if you will. Sorry, are we going?
I mean, yeah, that's true. I mean, you have a very rattled Vader, and you don't see that. I don't think really ever. I think that's the only time you really see Vader scared. Or at least fighting in a manner that implies he's scared.
Yeah, and like, I guess Obi-Wan would be able to pick up on that, and like, even if it's something subtler than fear, it's kind of like, maybe the light side's kind of getting to him a little bit. Maybe he's seeing an old friend brought back some feelings he wasn't expecting. Or a former friend. Maybe then Obi-Wan notices he has the upper hand type of thing. And he knows that, well, it's weird too, because Obi-Wan later on, as a Force ghost, tells Luke basically that Darth Vader's irredeemable and is more machine than man, and Luke tries to convince him that he's worth saving and there's still good in him and stuff, and he's like no, he's like twisted and evil.
I mean, I think that's okay. He killed children, a lot of children.
Yeah, for sure. So, it's just odd how, I don't know, what emotions might be coursing through their thoughts and hearts, in that moment given the context, we know everything. I mean, you guys know about the whole Clone Wars relationship that they build. What is it? What is the deeper context? I mean, that okay, Vader's scared, but is there light peering into that dark void of a soul in that moment, or when perhaps in the moment when Obi-Wan gets vanquished or vanished?
Absolutely not. He's that's again. He is rattled, but his hatred is still very focused.
So does he have any emotions, or is he? I mean, he what are his passions? What do you imagine his passions?
He wants
Darth Vader.
He wants to overthrow Sidious and be the sole emperor of
Vader
the
has
galaxy.
emotions. Just think about the big no.
Mm-hmm. It's canon. The Frankenstein scene. He's alive.
He's a sad boy. That's all. It's sad
I killed her. You're not lying, are you? Okay, I was lying. I lied. I killed her. So, okay.
5.
Episode 5. Han against the Tauntaun.
Not a lightsaber fight.
There was if you look really closely, you see that it's a lightsaber in his hand. Another instance where he's about to ignite it, but then he gets cut. Well, he freezes to death. He's about to ignite. The Tauntaun had a lightsaber, though. It was just sort of a Han shot first. And,
okay, that makes sense.
So when it is cool though. I will say when it shows like a non-Jedi character, a non-Jedi in training character, pick up a lightsaber and use it like a tool, or as a defensive weapon or weapon. It's cool because it shows that why doesn't everyone just use a lightsaber if it's available, you know? But I guess
you would think that Rey couldn't use a lightsaber the second she picked one up, just like everybody else, but she seemed to be extremely proficient with it.
I mean, it's like if you or I picked up a lightsaber. I mean, do you think, all the times of playing with a cardboard tube prepared you to hold a real lightsaber in your fucking hand?
I mean, I think the standard should be the same for
or a toy lightsaber.
So I'm not disagreeing with you, Dennis.
I do like that you kind of like. I felt like you were never. I felt like you were kind of supporting the character of Rey for a second.
Quite the opposite.
Okay, so let's talk about 5 after the Han v Tauntaun epic. Duel.
Luke versus Vader there.
Ah, yes, the classic toying.
So yeah, you definitely. This is where you turn around and you see that Vader that is a master duelist who Luke is a child to him. Yeah, it actually, in a lot of ways, it perfectly reflects the fight between Anakin and Dooku. But it does everything right this time.
Interesting.
Where Vader teaches Luke the same lesson that Dooku taught him. Don't fuck with someone bigger than you.
There's always a bigger fish. Yeah, Vader throws like a fucking like a unit at him, like a fucking like mechanical like fucking I don't know, just like a fucking
to throw some boxes at them. It really
heavy ass air conditioning units or something.
Bunch of gonk droids.
And then Luke is learning. He does that little weird jump into that little tube thing. And before they land, when he like escapes him, and he flies down this little slide tunnel. But Which is the one that has that epic pan? Is it Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi that like shows you through the things, and they're basically like dueling, like fencing, like from like left to right on the screen. And it's pretty fast.
I think that's
Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi. Okay, that's the one you like the most. Okay. What else happens? I mean, he definitely gets his hand cut off, but oh, it's interesting. Okay, yeah, Anakin gets his hand cut off in the rhyming scene.
Mm-hmm.
So is Darth Vader aware that? No, of course he's aware that he's. How is he aware of that? He's
what?
Luke's father. Oh wait.
Well, he has his last name.
When's the first time he hears about it? Bring me Skywalker. That's crazy. Anyway, what else can we say about it?
It's overall, it's a good fight. It makes a callback to something that hadn't even happened yet, technically. Yeah, no, I just in general, just overall good fight. You know, they hit the nail on the head again.
And they kind of reveal that Leia has Force powers at the end when they save Luke, and we lose the green lightsaber until it's mysteriously...
The blue lightsaber.
Oh, that was blue?
Yeah, that was blue. Luke... Well, we'll get to it in a minute.
Yeah. But, yeah, it's never explained. Fucking... Okay, anyway. But how that lightsaber comes back, but... Anyway. I can't think of anything else. Is there any... Does Luke use the Force at all? That I can't remember?
I could be mistaken, but I think he tries to at one point and doesn't really accomplish much with it. I don't know.
Oh, he also severs the arm of a cave bear.
Oh, the Yeti, that's right.
Yeah.
Not a lightsaber.
Wampa? Is it a Wampa? Okay, so next one. 6.
So I think the only lightsaber fight is Luke versus Vader. I don't think... Sidious doesn't even have lightsaber. He prefers the Force raw.
Yeah, there's no first act villain to dole away with.
Yeah, Jabba, technically.
Oh, yeah. Good one. Nice. Well done.
But there's no lightsabers.
No, but he does use a lightsaber when he's... No, not a fight, but yeah, just...
Oh, right. So the point I wanted to make was that...
That's the
so when Luke gets his green lightsaber, we don't really know at what point he made it, where he went, what he did, whatever. A commonly accepted theory that I frankly subscribe to is that he made it shortly before going to rescue everybody. And you'll notice that it looks exactly like Obi-Wan's lightsaber. And my thinking, and the general rationale behind the theory, is that he knew where Obi-Wan's hut was, so he went, and Obi-Wan had been keeping record of all these different Jedi things. So, naturally, Obi-Wan had the diagrams and everything listed as, his lightsaber. So that's why they look the same. And I think that's important.
He had it made to look like another one?
It looks almost identical to Obi-Wan's lightsaber. If you look at Obi-Wan's lightsaber and you look at the one that Luke has in Return of the Jedi, exactly the same.
Huh, cool. That is very interesting. Is that sort of like a little bit of a retcon to make it make sense? Because they had the same looking.
Not necessarily. I mean, it's just.
And they need an explanation. Lampshade.
I don't think it's ever been explained.
Oh, this is a theory of yours?
It's, well, no, I mean, it's a generally accepted fan theory.
Oh, okay.
It's never been stated explicitly, this is why it looks this way. That's just people assume.
Return of the Jedi. It's the final fight of Star Wars.
Is it cool or is it
it's everything. It's cool and it's meaningful.
And
there is definitely a lot of emotion, yeah.
Yeah, and there's like, and John Williams has like choral singing in the background. Like, you guys need to go back and rewatch that fight on YouTube. Like, after this, like, it's just so good.
The taunting,
and
the taunting,
Luke's wearing like his all black.
He looks at his hand after he's like.
He got his hand. You know, he's looking cool.
It's cyber
stuff. Yeah.
I'm like him. I'm doing the thing he did. Oh fuck! I can't do that. I'm a Jedi man.
I'm surprised Kylo Ren didn't chop off his own hand.
Don't you mean all 4 of his limbs?
If he wanted to be like Darth Vader so much.
For real, man. He needed to start chopping off.
What a poser! What a freaking poser,
cool.
dude!
He should have started with he should have started with his fingers and just like kept going like throughout the movie. He just like continues like cutting stuff like.
Oh, that'd be so gnarly.
I'm gonna go for all 4 of my limbs.
Cult of Vader, they all cut off their right hand.
No, he's just a head.
Man.
He's just a head on a droid body.
Oh, true.
Dude, that would be cool.
Oh, he's like Mr. Freeze in Batman Beyond. He's just like the head on like the spider robot legs.
Oh my god. Sounds great.
Anyway,
we did it. We went through all of them. All right. Like, comment, and subscribe below. This has been episode 2. What's the best lightsaber battle? Yeah.
What is a lightsaber battle? More important.
Is the lights. There we go.
Next episode, we are going to talk about something else. So stick around.
Put what you think our next episode should be in the comments, and we'll eventually pick one of them.
Yeah, we'll sort through like the all the responses we're going to get to find the ones that are the most hit on.
Yeah,
and then
don't worry,
we're gonna have dozens and dozens, hundreds of comments.
No responses. Pick a topic ourselves.
We'll get to them all eventually. Just give us time. We will eventually be able to cover each prompt on a bi-weekly basis.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys. This has been Tosche Station, and I'm Dennis.
I'm Rob.
Derek.
Okay. Bye. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.